Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 6. So today we'll discuss text 27 onwards. Evam Krishna Mater Brahman Asaktasyam Syamalatmanaha Kalah Pradur Bhutakale Tadit Sodamini Yatha. So it's chapter 6, conversation between Narad and Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva, and so, O Brahman Vyasadeva, in due course of time, I, who was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, and who therefore had no attachments, being completely freed from all material taints, met with death, as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. So, Narada is telling Vyasadeva, in due course of time, I was completely absorbed in thinking of Krishna and had no attachments, completely freed from all material taints, so no material desires at all. He met with death, and very nicely things he's putting, as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. So, what does it mean? It means he got the spiritual body as soon as he left his material body. That's what Prabhupada explains in the purport. To be fully absorbed in the thought of Krishna means clearance of material dirts or hankerings. As a very rich man has no hankering for small, petty things, so also a devotee of Lord Krishna, who is guaranteed to pass on to the kingdom of God where life is eternal, fully cognizant and blissful, naturally has no hankerings for petty material things. That is a sign of spiritually enriched persons. And in due course of time, when a pure devotee is completely prepared, all of a sudden the change of body occurs and is commonly called death. So when the pure devotee is completely prepared, then they leave the body. And for the pure devotee, such a change takes place exactly like lightning and illumination follows simultaneously. That is to say, a devotee simultaneously changes his material body and develops a spiritual body by the will of the Supreme. Even before death, the pure devotee has no material affection due to his body's being spiritualized like a red-hot iron in contact with fire. So, Prabhupada has given this example many times. When we put a iron rod in fire and we leave it there for a long time, then it becomes as good as fire. It becomes red-hot, like fire. It acts like fire, although it is iron. It looks like iron, but it is fire. So similarly, the material body that we have, and when we engage in the service of Krishna, engage it in spiritual practices, it becomes spiritualized. It's not material body anymore. It looks like material body, but it is completely spiritualized. And this is what it also means here. So immediately he got spiritual body and he left. He went back to spiritual body. प्रयुज्यमाने मयितां शुद्धां भागवतीं तनुम् आरब्ध कर्म निर्वाणो न्यपतत् पांच भौतिकः. Having been awarded a transcendental body befitting an associate of the personality of Godhead, I quit the body made of 5 material elements, and thus all acquired fruitive results of karma stopped. Informed by the personality of the Godhead that he would be awarded a transcendental body befitting the Lord's association, Narad got his spiritual body as soon as he quitted his material body. This transcendental body is free from material affinity and invested with 3 primary transcendental qualities, namely eternity, freedom from material modes, and freedom from reactions of fruitive activities. So no more karmic reactions, no more material modes, and it is eternal, Sat. The material body is always afflicted with the lack of these three qualities. A devotee's body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities as soon as he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. A devotee's body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities as soon as he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So anybody who is engaged in the service of the Lord, his body gets all the spiritual qualities. Of course, now it's up to us how much we keep on cultivating those spiritual qualities. Or just like this morning we were discussing, we know there's soul, which is 10,000 part of the tip of the hair, and then there is subtle body, material body, and gross material body on the soul. But when the person is involved in spiritual activities, yoga, bhakti yoga, or hatha yoga also, then his spiritual body starts increasing, starts developing. Although it's inside the material body, but the original spiritual form, spiritual body starts developing inside the material body. So this is what happened, and also that's why Prabhupada writing, a devotee's body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities because the spiritual body is developing inside. The influence of transcendental devotional service is like that. Therefore, change of the body means stoppage of the reaction of three qualitative modes of material nature upon the pure devotee. So Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and many other devotees were able to see the personality of Godhead face to face, apparently in the same body. This means that the quality of a devotee's body changes from material to transcendence. So that is also possible. So like in the case of Dhruv Maharaj, it is mentioned when we study the story of Dhruv Maharaj, when he was going to leave the body, leave the material world, then the plane from Vaikuntha came and Dhruv Maharaj stepped on the plane in the same body that he was having. So his body was completely spiritualized. So it could be both ways. In Brahma Samhita, it is said that the beginning from the Indra Gopa Jam up to the great Indra, king of heaven, all living beings are subjected to the laws of karma and are bound to suffer and enjoy the fruitive results of their own work. Only the devotee is exempt from such reactions. Why? By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Authority, the personality of Godhead. So devotee is exempted from all karmic reactions. So that's what in Brahma Samhita it is said, na? Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhanya. So for a devotee, one is engaged in the service of the Lord, all the karmas are burnt to ashes. And it happens by the mercy of the Supreme Authority, Krishna. Because the devotees are not under the jurisdiction of Yamraj. They're directly under the care of Krishna. So they don't have to go through the karmic reactions just like anybody else do. Kalpanta idam adaya shyane amba sayuddanvataha shishi yeshor anupranam vivishe antarham vibhu. At the end of the millennium, when the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, lay down within the water of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him, along with all creative elements. And I also entered through his breathing. So at the end of the millennium, so it was the previous day of Brahma when Narad Muni experienced all this. And then the devastation time came and everything, including Lord Brahma, entered into the body of Brahmaji. And Narad Muni saying, along with him, I also entered into the body of Lord Narayan or Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Narad is known as the son of Brahma, as Lord Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva. The personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Narad appear in the material world by the same process. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the birth and activities of the Lord are all transcendental. Therefore, according to authorized opinion, the birth of Narad as a son of Brahma is also a transcendental pastime. So Narad Muni, now in the past day of Brahma, he did all his tapasya and then he left his body. But then he immediately got spiritual body. So now when next time he was born as Narad Muni, he had a transcendental body. But he appeared just like as a son of Lord Brahma. Just like Prabhupada giving example, as Krishna appears as a son of Vasudeva. He doesn't have to accept the father as Vasudeva, or Narad Muni doesn't have to accept the father as Brahmaji, but it's matter of pastime, it's matter of their own, how they want to do the service. They appear like that. The Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence. So devotees like Narad Muni, they belong to the same category. Of course, we have long way to go to reach that category. Sahasrayug paryante utthayedam sisrikshataha marichi mishra rishya pranebhyo aham chajagire. After 43 billion solar years, I think it was 4.3 billion. No, 4.3 billion. When Brahma awoke to create again by the will of the Lord. So it says Sahasra Yug Paryantam, after 1000 Chaturyugas. All the rishis like Marichi, Angira, Atri, and so on were created from the transcendental body of the Lord. And I also appeared along with them. The duration of a day in the life of Brahma is 4.32 billion solar years. That's also stated in Bhagavad Gita. And for this same period, Brahmaji rests at night in Yog Nidra within the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the generator of Brahma. So long is his night. But for him, it is 12 hours. From our point of view, it is that long. Thus, after the sleeping period of Brahma, when there is again creation by the will of the Lord through the agency of Brahma, all the great rishis again appear from different parts of the transcendental body. And Narad also appears. This means that Narad appears in the same transcendental body, just as a man awakes from sleep in the same body. So now Narad Muni got transcendental body. Now whenever anything happens, he retains the transcendental body. Shri Narad is eternally free to move in all parts of the transcendental and material creations of the Almighty. He appears and disappears in his own transcendental body, which is without distinction of body and soul, unlike conditioned beings. So Narad Muni does not have a material body, just like we do. Our body and soul are different, but Narad Muni is in a different category. And it happened because he performed that tapasya in one lifetime. And so rigorously he performed tapasya that at the end of this life, at the end of that life, he attained the spiritual body. So it is possible if one does tapasya for one lifetime and he attains a spiritual body at the end of that. Antarbahishya lokan strin paremya skandit vrataha anugrihan maha Vishnu avighat gati kvachit. Since then, by the grace of Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord. So Narad Muni is giving us a secret here. He is fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord. So he is free, without restriction. He can move around in any of place in the material or the spiritual world. That's a potency of devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of material spheres, namely the Urdhvaloka, topmost planets, Madhyaloka, midway planets, and Adhaloka, downward planets. Beyond the Urdhvaloka planets, that is to say, above the Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universe, and above that is a spiritual sky, which is unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited, self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets, inhabited by God Himself along with His associates. So Sri Narad Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and spiritual spheres without restriction. As much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of His creation. So Narad Muni has this special visa where he can travel anywhere and everywhere at any time, and at the speed of, basically at the speed of mind. He is a liberated spaceman. The causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall down, but the materialists, that is, the fruitive workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. The rishis, as above mentioned, all the rishis that are previously Angira, Marichi, Atri, etc., they cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narad Muni. So Narad Muni has special visa that he can go anywhere and anytime. Just like in Bhagavatam only, in 10th canto, this chapters came when Narad Muni went to Dwarka, when Krishna was residing there with his 16,108 queens in different palaces. It is said a yogi can expand himself in 9 forms, but all the forms will do all the 8 expanded forms, and 1 is original form. All the 8 expanded forms will act exactly like the original form is doing. If the original form is moving his right hand, all the expanded forms will also move the right hand. They're like exact replica. But in Narad Muni's case, when he entered Dwarka, 16,108 palaces, he entered all of them at the same time. And this was by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, because he wanted to see what is it that Krishna is doing in all the palaces at the same time. That was his desire. To fulfill his desire, Krishna awarded him the special permission by which he can enter all the palaces at the same time. And amazingly, when he entered all the palaces, he saw Krishna with his respective queens in those palaces, and he was doing different activities. And some activities were supposed to be meant to in the daytime, or early morning time, some in the daytime, some in the afternoon time, some at the evening. So this is how it's explained. So in Dwarka, when Krishna was residing there, even the time had no influence, because same time, from materially, Narad Muni was seeing in one palace, Krishna just woke up. Other palace, Krishna was giving charity to the Brahmins. Other palace, he was doing meditation. Other palace, he was sitting with his queens and discussing about the kids' marriages. Other palaces, he was doing activities that had to be done in the evening at the same time. This is spiritual world. It's not like when Narad Muni entered at the same time, every palace should have same 10 o'clock or whatever. And then Krishna, all the Krishnas came out from 16,000 palaces, and then they all merged into one, and then they went to this palace, or where King Ugrasen was, to meet him and to have the whatever meeting and the rest of the royal activities. This is what Krishna does. And Narad Muni was given an entrance into his pastimes by the mercy of Krishna. Of course, many times Narad Muni does special pastimes just to test, because once Narad Muni went to a heavenly planet and he got this Parijat flower, which is only available in the heavenly planets. And he came to Dwarka at the time when Krishna was sitting on his swing with his two special queens, Rukmini and Satyabhama. And Narad Muni brought one Parijat flower. And these queens, they saw Narad Muni coming and they got up and they're ready to welcome him. And Krishna was telling them, no, 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 don't welcome him. Don't invite him here. He will create trouble. Don't let him come here. And queens, no, 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 see, such a great sage, such a great saint. We have to welcome him, otherwise we'll commit offense. And Krishna was, oh, he comes here, he's going to create trouble. So Narad Muni came and he is standing there. He came as a very innocent sage and he approaches Krishna and he tells Krishna, Krishna, here I went to the heavenly planets and I got this one Parijat flower. You please give it to your best queen. Now Krishna is looking at both Rukmini and Satyabhama. Now who should I give this Parijat flower to? And he knew the other person will get angry. So he was in a complete fix. And Narad Muni is standing there just watching what is happening. And obviously, because Rukmini Devi is elder, senior, and Krishna gave that flower to Rukmini Devi. And Queen Satyabhama, she got really angry because Satyabhama has this leftist mood. Rukmini is in rightist mood. So Satyabhama got really angry. How in the world you gave that Parijat flower to Rukmini when I was there? So just to satisfy Satyabhama later, Krishna had to first fight with Narkasura and then he took Satyabhama to heavenly planet. And from there, he got the full Parijat tree for Satyabhama just to pacify her. And they brought the Parijat flower tree and planted in the courtyard of Satyabhama's palace. See, even God has to do so much to satisfy, to pacify their wives. So what to speak of ordinary human beings on this planet? Of course, whatever Narad Muni does, there's a secret or a better implication because Narad Muni wanted Narkasura to die and Narad Muni wanted Indra's pride to be curbed. So that was the whole reason he enacted this pastime. But the way he does is special. That's all. So it's 8:55, so I'll stop here. See anybody's any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, when there is a night for Brahma, then what are the activities of Krishna during that time?
See, Krishna does his pastimes in all the universes. So here it could be night for Brahma, but some other place it could be daytime. And Krishna here in this universe, he does his pastimes only once in a day of Brahma. Brahma has 14 Manus. So Krishna comes on time of 7th Manu and 28th Dwapara Yuga. So his pastimes, which go on for 125 years, is basically not even a second, a few seconds in the lifetime of Brahma, in the daytime of Brahma. So it's pretty much towards the noon time of Brahmaji. And then Krishna winds up the pastimes here. It goes to some other universe, and here The rest of the yugas will go on, and the rest of the manus will come, and they'll rule over, and comes the night of Rama. Is that okay?
So that means he's throughout there. He may not be one part of the universe. He's available in another part of the universe.
Available in another universe, because there are innumerable material universes. Or once I heard, like Jiva Goswami has explained, that Krishna's pastimes are nitya, even in this universe. So they are manifested and unmanifested. So when he performs his pastimes, 7th Manu and 28th Dwapar Yuga, those are the manifested pastimes. Otherwise, they're all unmanifest. That only the eligible people can see that.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Prabhuji, just taking off from the Raji Prabhuji's question, when the Krishna goes to some other universe to perform his pastimes, the pastimes remains the same that he performs in this universe?
more or less, but some changes, some variety must be there. Like it is said that sometimes Kansa is in Mathura and Krishna goes there on the chariot of Akrura to kill Kansa, and sometimes he rides on Kalia, and Kalia takes him on through like waterway. It takes him to Mathura to kill Kansa. So there could be some variety, but majority or the principle behind the pastimes are the same.
Okay. Like you could have a Mahabharata in some other universe also. You could have the similar kind of features there also.
Those pastimes are going on. Like Prabhupada did explain that. So Krishna has taken birth here. Now suppose he is killing Putna, but at the same time he has taken birth in some other universe where he's performing his birth pastimes. And some of the plays he's doing other pastimes, some of the plays he's doing. So these are called Nitya Leela. That's why they are Nitya Leela.
So the pastimes the Leelas remain the same. It's only the timings may differ.
More or less, but yes, some differences could be there in the Leela also.
Okay.
And also many times it is said that they become unmanifest. The pastimes become unmanifest for us. But even in this universe, the pastimes are still going on in unmanifested way. It's hard to understand Krishna's pastimes.
This Marichan you talked about and is the same guy who is the mama of Ravan?
No, that's Marichi, the Rishi. Marichi.
Okay. Marichi Rishi. Thank you, Prabhuji. You have settled down, Prabhuji?
Yeah, jet lag is kind of over.
Still going on. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any other question or comment? It's just at 11 p.m. I didn't want to put on my kurta and put on tilak, so I showed up like this in the class.
We didn't want to ask you that.
So, please don't distribute.
That's why I asked you that have you settled
this
down?
video. So please don't distribute this video.
That you can tell Abhishek, Prabhuji.
Okay, I think we can stop here. Everybody have a wonderful day. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.